I suppose we got to get to it. We all fucking wasted our time watching this thing. We all sat down and watched it, even though Gary's not here to talk about it. We got to talk about Wicked 2. Wicked for good. You know, before we even get into reviews, I guess we can talk about how the box office is doing because, look, we know that the people that watch this channel, it is not the target demographic for this movie. It is just not. That doesn't mean that just because a lot of us don't like it, that it's not going to make a fuck ton of money, because it is. Just like I said, the first one would, just like I said, this one would. Before it came out, it was tracking for a $200 million plus worldwide opening. I think those numbers are going to be pretty heavy on the plus side when all is said and done, because the preview numbers came out today and it's the best of the year by a long shot. $30 million preview night for Wicked for Good. To put that in perspective, the first one last year was $19 million Thursday previews.
Well, the consensus, I have not seen it yet, but the consensus is not as good as the first one. But
I think that this is weaker than the first one, and I expected it to be that way. If you look at what the story actually is and how it ends, and even if you didn't like it or whatever, at least you could say parts of the first one, it kind of had like a fun feeling to it. That's not this one. It's all fucking sadness and misery and gaslighting and friends fighting and getting tricked and all this shit. And also, I feel like the music isn't as good. The songs aren't as good in this second one, maybe because they're so sad and shit. And then also you start bringing in characters that you recognize from Wizard of Oz, even more so than just the wizard. And you really can't help but thinking this is all just complete and utter bullshit. You know?
That just made me want to watch the original. I was like, I want to watch that movie. Let me watch that one.
On top of everything Ryan said, the plot is actually very retarded. It's stupid as hell. And then they try and force its way to try and justify its insertion with the original film, and the justifications for a lot of it doesn't even fit perfectly with the film at all. Like the sister's supposed to be the Wicked Witch of the East or something like that. She stuffs up one spell, gets slippers, and that makes her a witch, and everyone hates her. There's so much stupid things that don't fit in. And at the beginning of the film, they established that she's got all this magical power as the witch. She could have taken out the wizard at any friggin' moment with that infinite magic spell book bullcrap she has.
She kept fucking it up every time.
Well, no, she's turning people into tin men and scarecrow. She could have turned the wizard into a chicken.
Preventing
problem
death.
solved. Yeah, exactly. Like, but she's just flying around doing nothing throughout most of the film.
She's being sad. She's being sad.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up Glinda, because her arc in this movie is essentially realizing that she's going along with evil because she likes the attention, she likes the power, she likes being treated as if she's something important. And then at the end of the movie is her staging a coup so she can continue doing all of that and still getting all of the attention and all the power and everything else. She essentially embraces her evil ways rather than learning that actually maybe I shouldn't do that.
Every single
stage
one.
a revolution.
Most woman thing I've ever known in my life.
It's a woman film. Well, I have a feeling our audience isn't going to care too much about spoilers, because how the movie ends is retarded as well.
The actual ends like 18 times.
There's no actual reason for the wizard or his helper, who actually is a crazy, powerful sorceress that can summon tornadoes, that can level things, to just, give up.
That's all it takes.
Just the monkeys fly her away.
When it happened, this is a witch that's extremely powerful, like you just said, can summon fucking tornadoes and bring people from other dimensions. And then she's like, hey, Glinda, you need to sit down and shut up and just be the face, and I'm going to do all the planning and shit. And then movie happens, and then Glinda comes back and gives her like a little like a talking down to, and then she backs down for no reason. I'm like, did the power change dynamically in this relationship?
It's a very bad monkeys. Job. It's not the first. It's not the first or last time that an Asian girl has been harassed like that. So,
didn't help that Michelle Yeoh's acting / singing, or what she was trying to do as singing, was awful. I mean, dear Lord.
People who can't speak, and I say this respectfully because I love Michelle Yeoh.
Yes, fan.
And I say this respectfully. Can you not expose your actors who cannot speak good English to do these types of roles? I mean, this movie is going to make all the fucking money. But it is to the detriment of Michelle Yeoh. You know, we've seen it in The Acolyte as well. You know, Mr. Squid Game, great acting, fucking unbelievable in Squid Game. He was horrendous in The Acolyte because he can't speak English. But you don't expose your actors like this, please.
Not fair. Not fair.
So, Chrissy, what do you think about it as the woman? Like, you're who this is made for. And Odin because he likes the show, not because he's a woman, but you know.
Kind of similarly to Snow White, like all the press, all seeing like Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, like all their appearances, like kind of it just made me rolling my eyes long before this movie ever came out. And now there's this what they've come out as like demi-curious, like semi.
That was a Facebook troll.
Yeah, was that not okay? That wasn't real.
Boomers on fucking Facebook that believe everything. And then people on Twitter that share those Facebook posts as.
I was like, you can just say you're friends. Like, that's fine.
They are mentally fucking ill. What
they're kind of insufferable.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was too much feeling, too much like just going about right. It's all about looks and feeling. Like,
the movie felt
really
like it was
substance.
manipulating you constantly with the score. The score was like, you should be feeling this way. But I'm like, but nothing in the actual movie or the characters made me feel that way. Like, we're best friends and then we fight each other over a guy and then we get back together for some reason.
Go for her.
And
Never.
that guy would go for another man. That's what
Who on earth would dump Ariana Grande for Cynthia Erivo?
Blonde Gaston, basically. And you're going to go after this like crazy green lesbo with long nails.
Cynthia Erivo looks infinitely better with all the makeup on and everything than she does without. Now, I'm not saying that she looks like fucking hot or anything. She looks so disgusting as this bald demonic presence that when she's completely covered in makeup and has fucking fake hair and a lot of clothes on, you're like, hey, you are not the most hideous person.
When she doesn't have makeup on, I want to send her 35 cents a day. Like, it's just, it's not
just a fly land on her eyeball.
Just wanted to comment on the love interest guy. It was hilarious, and I felt cringe as hell that they really wanted the Scarecrow to still look sexy at the end, and then
he had like a weird
Let me see that burlap dick.
It ended up being nice.
Is the dick floppy too?
It took me a while to figure out what happened. And I'm like, oh, they turned him into the Scarecrow. Got it.
Yeah. So, and that's watching the first one, like, it's one of the things we talked about a year ago. It's like, it's going to be interesting people's reaction because a lot of people watching that, like, if they're a fan of the play, whatever, but if they just got sucked into the marketing and everything, they don't know that Fiyero in this first one will be the Scarecrow. They don't know that Bach, which is the worst name in the fucking world, is going to be the Tin Man, right? And it's going to be weird to see how that plays out. And I think that's, for me, right, as somebody who's not a fan of Wicked or whatever, right, but I do know, like, the story, that was the part for me that I really lost a lot of like believability or whatever when you start seeing these people that you know and how it happens and the way it happens and why it happens. I just fuck off with that. Now, Odin, you are a fan of the play.
Yes.
And what are like some of the changes they made in this that like really make this a poorer version of the musical?
So two of the biggest ones is that they add 2 new songs. There's 2 songs that are not actually in the production, and neither of them are very good. There's one that Elphaba sings about how, like, this is home, and the whole dynamic of that is trying to make you think of, oh, you know, it's like the whole connecting you back to Dorothy, you know, saying there's no place like home. And so they make a song that now Elphaba sings called No Place Like Home. It doesn't really add anything to the story at all. It's a narrative thing. It's like, oh, let's just talk about what's going on right now. And that's kind of the issue with modern music, in general, and modern song making. It's similar to what happened in Snow White, right? Remember how they made new songs and the songs were terrible because the lyrics were bad, because it was just like, oh, let's say what's going on right now versus actually having deeper lyrics to it. So it was like basically their attempt to try to give them more things to do. And those were the biggest things. But then also like they were cutting away from things. Most people who actually watch the show and like the show all admit that the second act is much weaker. But it was even worse with how they edited this movie, because they moved different things around. They changed how certain things happen, and it took away any of the charm. Not to say that it made sense beforehand, because again, if you don't buy into the whole Bach becoming the Tin Man, it's like that in the play too. It just is not as rushed and as just out of the blue. You're like, wait, what the hell's going on here? And I think someone mentioned before about why is she the Wicked Witch of the East. Part of that was because she was ruling like a tyrant. So she was known as a witch more so because of how terrible of a person she was, and the fact that she was the sister of the Wicked Witch of the West. So she was like, it was a nickname they gave to her to like tear her down, basically.
All the gaslighting that we kind of saw, the manipulation, the labeling her that, and they've laid the groundwork tiny bit for that, by banning the Munchkins from leaving. But you're right, they didn't do a great job of settling.
Why didn't we see a crushed wheelchair coming out from under the house? That'd be fun.
That's why she couldn't get out of the way.
Yeah.
And that was the thing too, is that the shoes are supposed to make her walk.
I had no idea she was in a wheelchair for this, right? So when the house fell down, I'm like, oh no. Are they gonna have a crushed fucking wheelchair with?
I was expecting it.
The slippers. I'm like, oh no. I was excited.
I was so mad. Okay, that's the two examples of things I wanted to see. I wanted to see that bitch get crushed by the house. Didn't get to see that.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that green bitch get melted. Didn't get to see that. And then she came back.
I guess so much of the second half of this story like starts to not make sense. And I think that's the biggest problem. But it's like, because I can believe in the first one because we aren't in the setting of the Wizard of Oz. Like it's before we get there. It's like all the lead up to it. So in a vacuum, you can kind of pretend and play along like this is an alternate reality of what happens. But once you get to the movie and it's like, okay, so if this happens to Fiera with this, how does she actually find the Scarecrow if she's gone already? Like, how does Bach go from the murderous rampage to then stuck in the woods as if no one's fucking giving him oil for
rusty and
months? Like, you know, and that's the part for me where I think that the story starts to fall apart, even if you're not a fan of what they're doing.
Like Ryan said earlier, every time they try to connect it back to the original movie, it is a forced contrivance to get it into that position. Like people just on a dime just change their mind and opinion on shit just so they could be in a position to be in that movie.
Bad writing.
This is going to be so successful. I could see them remaking The Wizard of Oz with the cast of Wicked.
Oh God, please don't.
You're getting into
I
don't think so. Look, I think that even though I'm not a fan, so I like the first one better than I like this one, right? I think the first one actually is decent and it's kind of fun and music is good, even if I don't really like the story. Not a fan of the second one. I think that from the way it was made, from shooting both movies back to back to the marketing campaign in the first one to what they've done in the lead up to this one, cringe shit aside, I think it's all been done really well. It's massively fucking successful for them. Yeah. They appealed to exactly who they wanted to appeal to. It worked, right? Had a marketing blitz, $150 million marketing campaign for the first movie. And you saw it everywhere. It was so in your fucking face. You couldn't not know this movie was coming out. For this one, it's about half of that. Yeah. Like $75, $80 million marketing campaign where they did do some product placement. They did stuff like that, but it's much more low key because they already had their audience hooked because of the reception for the first one.
Right. And keep in mind, the whole thing has been about 20 years or so in the making. And so you need to have that level. And there's nothing else comparable in any of the other stories. I think it's like, you know, I think Lady Gravemaster mentioned, they'll adapt Son of a Witch next or something. It's like they're not going to adapt any of the other novels, most likely, because there's no musicals of those, and big part of why women are going to see this, right, is because of the musicals. Dynamic,
right? So, it's like we said earlier, it's for that audience. It's for women, and I just maybe women don't care about story or characters like making sense. Because like when I came out, my wife was like, my wife was like, this movie makes no sense. She was like, this makes no sense, but the dress was pretty.
So I think that there are some women who are like, I love the feeling of it and this like friendship arc and
hashtag
like,
not all.
But I also think that men can like movies that are bad for themes as well. Like I do think that's 100% the case. It might be a little different. Like I think Chad, for instance, the reason I knew he would like Predator Badlands is because of that like young man trying to prove himself type of mentality. Shad's a sucker for that stuff. So like I admit it, I'm not saying Shad's an idiot for liking the movie. I'm just saying like I do
just
think
an idiot in general.
Just a sucker.
I'm saying
I agree with you.
I want to get that clarification out.
I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing. It's just a difference. And girls go to watch it because they like the dresses or the dances or the music. That's what they want to see. That's what they got. And it's making money because of that.
This movie made me go, should I have a black friend?
Some things aren't made for me. Like that's just the truth, right? And instead of like, for me, just like we did with Barbie, for me, instead of being like, well, this is just dog shit and blah, 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 I think that it just goes to further our entire point. Right? Our entire point about what's happened to the IPs that we love, like what happens to Lord of the Rings when it gets in the hands of activists, what happens to Star Wars when you get people in charge that want to turn it into a girls brand, what happens to Marvel when you try to start forcing all these characters that people rejected time and time again. When you have properties that have a built-in audience, you should first and foremost make those things for that audience because they're the ones that like it. And I feel the same exact way about female properties. If they had tried to change a bunch of this shit in Wicked to make it more appealable to men or whatnot, or if they'd try to do the same thing for, say, the Barbie movie, I don't think they would have had the same results because their core audience wouldn't have shown up, wouldn't have supported it, wouldn't have blasted it out there. So unfortunately, that's probably not the lesson that so many in Hollywood will learn. They'll be like, we need to turn more female properties, or we need to turn more male properties into female properties because look at Wicked and look at Barbie. But the truth is, it reinforces what we've been saying for years about the IPs that we care about.
So Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.